Hey, what's up, everybody? POA here, and a little bit of a departure, and I'm going to kind of explain mentally where I'm going with this a little bit. So, obviously, right, we're on a channel where I open up tons of things, and Lord knows I have tons of things in my possession. And then the bans happened, which, I'm not thrilled about. Obviously, there are people out there that took it way overboard, which I hate to say was a bit unsurprising that there are people out there that took it overboard. But nonetheless, right, what it really did for me was be like, hey, that one shouldn't anything can happen to a modern era card at any given time, whether it be reprints, whether it be bannings, whether it be power creep. You know this, right? So then I started to look at everything I had. I'm like, why do you need 25 of every single shock land? Which is pretty much what I was up to. You don't. You don't need that. Why do you have that? That's silly. That's absolutely silly. Okay. So then I started to wonder. Now, I've always been proxy friendly, but I myself, I ordered one small set of 10 proxies once just because I really didn't feel like buying more cards at that very moment in time. So it would have cost me $200. Instead, I spent $20 on some proxies. And I didn't regret that. I was like, it's all right. I didn't mind it. I'll admit who I ordered them from. The quality was pretty not great. It was off Etsy. It was cool artwork, but they didn't even sit in the sleeve right for a long time until they eventually settled. But it took forever. So you could almost tell that there was something not right going on. But I'm proxy friendly. And the reason I'm proxy friendly is this goes back to where you have players, you have collectors, and then you have player collectors, right? So you have people really in the three realms of the world. I want the players to be able to play, and it kind of sucks being, priced out of something, right? You want people to be able to play the game, and that's cool. But at the same time, the collecting side needs to exist. You have to have both of those things, and then you have the player collectors in the middle, which are kind of where I've been. And you like to have the real things, so I never really dived into the proxy world. So then I made that post asking, for people to tell me their favorite places to get proxies from, and I kind of decided, I'm going to do a small series. This first one, explaining it, will be the longest, of just kind of looking at some of the different proxy companies. Let me be clear, I'm not being sponsored by anybody. I paid for these with my own money. Okay? So nobody knows. So this is just me, and I ordered, frankly, too many this first time. I got a little excited. But I guess what I figured is I'm going to have copies of these cards. I'm still going to have plenty of copies of these cards. I'm going to sell off some of the extras I really don't need. And especially for people like myself who really enjoy deck building, it kind of starts to make a little bit of sense. And you can get some of the cards with some cool artwork, as we're about to do. So, this is MTGproxy.com, okay, which it does appear to be one of the bigger ones. It looks like they do a fair amount of business. So with that being one of the bigger ones is probably partially why I went a little hard on how many things I ordered the first time. But they also, so you got to choose from a lot of different artworks. It kind of warned you up front if some of the images were a little bit lesser quality. So not everything, they didn't have everything, I guess you can say, that was going to be a good quality. So you get to change it if you want to change it to a different version. So I'm going to have a couple of that where I didn't get the version I wanted, but they had kind of this other version. I'm like, that looks cool. I'll go with that. And then you can get foil for an additional price. Okay. So I'll admit they're non-foil. I feel like we're not a bad little deal. They're foils. Well, we'll get to those. So just kind of taking a look. So first off, some of the reserve list cards I do own, and I was like, you know what? I could just have beta ones made. That's cool. I'll admit, that doesn't look good. that doesn't. That looks not good. Okay, the dual lands, yeah, That's not wonderful. I do appreciate that the backs are not real. right? But I'll admit on the front here, it's kind of lower res, and I'm not worried about, like, that looks fake. So let me be clear, the card texture though, so in a review, like the card texture lays flat, feels more like a Magic card. This will go into a sleeve nicely. You can just tell it's a proxy. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, nobody could fake these for, a real thing and try to sell them. In fact, that one doesn't even have the little dots. That doesn't even really have it. Okay, that's fascinating. Anyway, so since I have all the dual lands, I was like, I might as well get some proxies of those, huh? Yep, Tropical Island. And then I wanted to see what some newer cards would look like. So we got Meat Hook Massacre, which I didn't get one in this treatment. So I was like, all right. And that looks not real. Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? I guess it's a middle ground for me, personally. And I wanted to see what some full arts would look like, and I needed Blaze Meyer Verges. So that looks okay. And then we're back to more of these. I ordered a fair amount of those. Enduring Curiosity, again, I wanted to see what an extended art would look like. I did kind of a mix here of things. Now, the Ristic Study here actually looks not half bad. Right? Almost good enough that I'm glad it has that back. It's funny how that works. Like, some of these are not so good. This one looks pretty good. So, Ristic Study, perfect example. Do I need 10 copies? Actually, I think I have 14. 14 copies of that card? No. No, you don't. So, got to proxy a few. Dublin Season. Now, that one doesn't look as good. It looks fine enough, though. And then I wanted to see old bordered new versions. So, Ragavan. Yeah, it looks okay. Now, these were a little disappointing. These were the Double Masters 2020 full arts. And this one is a lot brighter than the actual version of the card. I don't know if you can tell that on there. Like, you can actually see the details. Like, they kind of turned up the contrast a little bit. It was for the hell of it. This will actually get played with. Yep, my favorite, probably one of my favorite artworks. Good old Psych Rift. Then, let's get into the side of, well, I love the Zendikar Rising Expeditions, so let's do those, since I have a bunch of those in decks. And do I need 20 copies of Polluted Delta? No. Misty Rainforest. Yeah, see, it is a lot brighter overall than the actual version. Ancient Tomb. See, this made a lot of sense. Then I was kind of like, well, let's get something that there's no way in hell you're going to pay for the actual copy of it. And you think it's so dumb how expensive it is. Oh, the Universes Within version of Rick. It looks fake, but that's okay. And then Force of Negation, right? Meat Hook, because again, how many copies of Meat Hook Massacre do I actually need? That was kind of like, all right, let's see how the Judge cards look. All right, I kind of ticked on a bunch of things. Then we get to a couple interesting ones. Like Extended Art Shieldred the Apocalypse. Because why not? Yeah, Fierce Guardianship. Deflecting Swat. So I wanted to see how this would turn out. So because you could do the resolution of the ones that essentially are the foil etched, but of course without the foil etching, and they don't do foil etching. So how would the card look with the foil etched look, but not being foil etched? Looks okay. OG Phyrexian Altar. Yeah. Mana Vault. Now this one looks rough. Like, it's super pixelated. Again, it's the upload, right? So it's how high definition is the upload. War Leader's Call, which is a shockingly expensive card. I was like, I actually play with that in I think like 4 or 5 decks at this point. Again, wanted to get some more of the lands that I love. Full art versions. Finale of Devastation. Perforos, again, I was trying to get the foil etched thing, see how that would go. Good old Party Tree. Now this one. So the One Ring, they didn't have really good uploads of the One Ring, which was surprising because I was trying to get the scrolls treatment, and their upload wasn't very good. So, but they had this artwork in there, and I was like, okay, that artwork's cool. Now, like, I own copies of every single one of these cards. So, you know, I can play with a proxy, right? Oh, here, tack, because this thing's like a $25, $30 card in a current set because of how damn good it is in Commander. And then Charismatic Conquerors, kind of the same story. Super expensive, came in the decks, or you can get it in the collector boxes. Ocelot Pride, because I only pulled one out of all the MH3 I opened. I only pulled one, Wild. And I was like, I want to get one of those. Some more of these, because, again, I decided to... Just because I wanted to see how it would look. Not great, but I wanted to see how it would look. Oh, I did two of those. Okay, whatever. Over there. Now that D-Toot looks not half bad. Copy Artifact. Yeah. Another Dublin season. I don't even remember what all I ordered. Gaia's Cradle. Okay. Esper Sentinel, because again, why do I have 18 copies of Esper Sentinel? Although the letters and everything on there, it's not particularly sharp. But it's playable, so whatever, does the job. Oh, I got two of those, all right. More of these. Yeah, the swords. Mox Opal. Okay, I did multiple of those. Chrome Mox. Then we get into the other expeditions. This is how it came in the package. That's interesting. Flooded Strand. Now this was cool. So while I was at it, I was like, gee, I play with a lot of Vorinclexes. And then I was just kind of looking at it. I'm like, oh, there's other artworks. And then you come across this artwork and you're like, that looks badass. Customized magic. Yeah, the text box isn't great, but that's okay. It's it's legible. You can read it. But that artwork is so cool. He looks horrifying. Another meat hook. Why did I get Adeline? I don't remember. Another Shielder, the Apocalypse. That time in the one version I never got for myself. Which I thought, I was a big fan of the concept. In fact, I was going to get the Vorinclex in the concept, except the upload wasn't good. It actually said blurry, and so that's why I ended up going over to that one, because I was going to get the concept one. And I wanted to see how the foil etched would look with Fierce Guardianship. Deflecting SWAT, because again, I don't need 13 copies of that. Same thing with Deadly Rollick. Now, this one did not turn out well, and I did not change it. It did warn me, hey, blurry image, and it is not great. Playable, yes, but it's so pixelated throughout. But I guess that's when it warns you that it has a blurry picture. This is what you're going to get. So I ended up leaving it. Why did I get a Delny? Whatever. Okay, more of those. Yeah, Crater Hoof. That actually turned out looking super good. I just wanted to see it. I just wanted to get one. That actually turned out looking really, really good. Huh. Yeah, Smother and Titan Borderless. Chrome Mox, which is even off-centered like it was in half the packages. That's funny. Wonder if that had to do with the upload. That's really funny. Another One Ring. Oh, here, tack, that time in the normal, so I wanted to see if they can do the flip cards, and they can. Okay. That actually feels like that's hard to do, but I'm probably wrong. I didn't pull any of the borderless Phyrexian Towers, so that felt like a natural in Ocelot Pride. And then you get into the foils. Okay. I made a comment that Enduring Courage is to me, it's a slightly better Vorinclex than some of my decks. That's their foil version. It's actually kind of hard to see. And then I was like, well, might as well get some expeditions, yeah? I'm going to foil them up because they're OG expeditions, yeah? Yeah. It's definitely like they printed it and then they put the film over it. It's kind of what it seems like. But it kind of makes it really hazy underneath. So some of these are really cool. Like, they've turned out really good. That the foils, Like they're playable, but they look rough. It's just an honest review, right? Because you are paying money for this, and I will say though, they're decently thick. They're not too thick, right? They feel solid. So however they do it, that might be why they do it that way. I don't know. That Godless Shrine's still awesome. Yep. It looks like the... Yeah, it looks like the film was peeling slightly. Yep. Yep, it's on that one too. Okay. Cool. Good to know. If I ever order from MTGproxy again, I'm not going to do foils. Oh, God. Yeah, the Judge promo, Force of Will. Because why not? That one looks awful. Yeesh. Yeah. And shocks. Oh. Random fetch land. Shock. Fetch land. Shock. Fetch land. And parallel lies with the Brothers War Judge version, which I thought was really cool. All right. So that's just kind of a look into MTGproxy. Overall, if it warns you about the copy that it is blurry, you should choose a different thing, and it'll turn out pretty good. A lot of these look pretty good, and they feel pretty good. So they are very playable proxies. So I'm relatively impressed. The foils, on the other hand, definitely not worth, in my opinion, the additional cost at all. I was hoping that they would be like a rainbow foil, but they're not. I don't know what costs more and what's harder to do or anything like that. So I'm not sure, but this is just going to be a series we're going to do over some time where I'm going to order from a few of the different proxy makers and we'll kind of compare. Next time, I'm not going to do this many. I went overboard. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.